How many of you have ever made a fire, like went camping, made a fire? And you know what happens with a fire? If you let that fire just kind of leave it to itself, eventually it burns down to embers. Burns down to embers. And what he's saying is, hey, to keep your faith burning, to keep that fire burning, and some of you are sitting here, right? And you've had that experience where it's like, God, I pray, but I want to feel connected, God. God, I want to see you manifest something in my life. Some of you are like, man, I want to feel God the way I used to, or the way she tells me she feels God, but I don't hear God that way. And Timothy's at that moment, right? He's like burnt out, he's overwhelmed, he's had too much on his plate, and Paul's like, you need to fan it into flame. Too many of us spend too much time thinking. Let me explain to you what I mean. It's actually estimated that the average person has between 12,000 and 50,000 thoughts a day. Talk about our brain exhausting us, right? And out of all of those thoughts, over 85% of every person's thoughts are leaning negative. That means 85% of your thoughts every day are negative about you, which is the majority, negative about someone else, or negative about life. Too many of us are tuning in and listening to ourselves complain to ourselves so much that our fire is burning out. We're literally depriving it of oxygen. And right now it's embers. Too many of us need to preach to ourselves a little more. And Paul's like, let me give you a reminder, Timothy. And he's reminding you today, some of you need to hear this. God did not make you timid. God did not make you afraid. In you is the Holy Spirit. If you're a child of God, you are a spiritual warrior who carries the very presence and the power of God in your life. You can't fail, because if you did fail, he'd fail. And he can't fail because he's God. He's alive in you. You know what failure is? It's when we disconnect, when we unplug, and we give up. Too many of us measure failure wrong. And what Paul's saying is, stop listening to those things. You're not timid. You're not weak. Don't let people look down on you just because you're young. Fight forward. Man, you need to fan it into a flame. And some of us are like, God, how do I hear you again? And God says, you need to start fanning again. Man, I need to fan it. That means I need to go to church regularly. I need to tune in online regularly. I need to start listening to worship music the way I used to. I need to go to that conference. I need to surround myself with people I want to be like, not people I'm trying not to be. I got to fan it. I got to fan it. And if you don't fan it, you're going to start to dry up spiritually, and it turns to spiritual apathy. And if you don't fan it, spiritual apathy turns into spiritual atrophy. Things start dying in you. But the worst part is you don't even know it yet.